Hey folks, so today this is going to be the demo for this Celebrity Time Traveler Pixlr assignment. So you're going to need to find two pictures, one of a celebrity from head to toe and one of a historic photograph. So I chose these two specifically for different reasons. So I picked this one of Kevin Hart because you're able to see him entirely from head to toe and it's a good quality picture. So you're going to save it by right-clicking on it and hitting Save Image As. So we're going to save both of these images to our computer, and I'm going to swap over and do the same over here. You can't see me saving it, by the way. I am. The windows aren't popping up due to the program I used to record this. So you're going to right-click on both of them, save them both to your computer. It's also important that you choose a historic image where you can fit your celebrity in a believable way, and you are going to open in Pixlr E the image of your historic background, and then on top of it you're going to add a layer of your celebrity. And when you add it, depending on how big the picture is, it might be really big, kind of like how it is here. So what you're going to do is you're going to make sure you have the Arrange tool selected, and you are going to shrink down your celebrity picture so you're able to see the entire thing. You don't have to make it so he fits the size of the space he's going to fit in, he or she. You're just going to make sure that you can see the entire picture. So one way you can get rid of the background is if it's all one color, kind of like most of the background here. You can select it using the wand tool that we used for the previous digital sandwich assignment and then just hit delete. And you can see I'm doing it here on the floor and on the background. And it does a lot of the work for us. It's kind of nice, right? And one other thing I recommend is you can turn off the background by clicking the little check mark there. So that way we can just focus on getting rid of the background around Kevin Hart. So you're going to notice here, I'm going to try and use the eraser and deselect, and it's not going to let me use the eraser. Look, if I try, it's not going to let me. So one thing I'm going to actually have to do is reset the page. I'm going to do that in just a second. But yeah, if you see, it's just not letting me erase it. It just looks like I'm hovering over it, but I'm clicking down and trying. So I'm going to reset the page, and I don't know why it does this, but it works. You're going to reopen the project, and if you grab that eraser tool and make sure that the Kevin Hart or whatever celebrity you have layer is selected, you can do it then. For whatever reason, it works now. And you're going to notice I'm going to speed up parts of this in a minute, but you're going to notice I'm just going to carefully kind of edge around my celebrity using the eraser tool. Maybe I can erase other parts out here, but I can even wait till later and do that with a bigger eraser later. And I'll be showing us in a minute to how to change the size of the eraser. And you're going to see I accidentally put a little spot in there. If you erase something that you don't mean to, Control-Z will undo it for you, as I did there. So you can always hit Control-Z anytime you make a mistake. Just try and correct it as quickly as possible. So I'm carefully just kind of erasing outside the edges of Kevin Hart here. And I'm going slowly and deliberately. This is going to take a little while, especially if I want to do it right. So just going around the edges here. So, by the way, I think I made it pretty clear in the assignment. You don't have to pick Kevin Hart. You can pick whatever celebrity you want. You can pick whatever celebrity. It could be an actor. It could be a musician. It could be whoever you want. But I just picked this picture of Kevin Hart because, again, I'm able to see him from head to toe. So check this out. Up here, if I click on that little circle, I can change the size of the brush I'm using. Technically, it's the size of the eraser. And I can change the softness of it, too. I can either give it a harder edge or a softer edge. So I made it a little bit of a harder edge, and that's going to allow me to kind of get in there and get rid of that little white halo around him from the background that was there. And so around now is the point where I'm going to kind of speed things up a bit. I'm not actually working this quick. I kind of sped up the video so you didn't have to watch me do this for an extra 10 minutes. So I'm just going to carefully start erasing the outside here. And you're going to see certain points where I make mistakes. And again, anytime you make a mistake, you can Control Undo. You'll see it happen a few times. See, I didn't like how I did it there. So I hit Control Z. Then I was able to try it again. You know, that's kind of the nice part of working with digital programs like Pixlr or Photoshop is anytime you make a mistake, as long as you correct it soon afterward, it's possible to undo every mistake you make. So I am erasing really slowly here. And I'm adjusting the size of the eraser in order to get into like those little areas that are kind of harder to reach with a bigger sized eraser. And getting those edges there, looking good. And I used a big eraser to get rid of a lot of stuff around the edges. For some reason, it kind of just skipped that part, but I made the brush of the eraser really, really big, and I just, knocked out those areas really quickly that were around him using a bigger brush. So I've erased everything around Kevin Hart. He's looking pretty good to me. And at this point now, I'm just kind of figuring out placement. Where do I want to put him? Because right now he's really big. Let's kind of shrink him down a little bit. We don't want to make him too small because then he's not going to look right. We want to make him the correct height. So try and make your celebrity the right height and get the placement down of where you want to put them. One other problem you'll notice right now is his picture is in color and the photograph we used is black and white, right? We don't necessarily want to keep him that way. So in a minute, we're going to change the color of him. So the way you're going to do that here is you're going to make sure you have your celebrity layer selected. And you'll notice I brought back the background. I did that by checking that little check mark again. So here's how I change the color of Kevin Hart here, how I make him black and white, just like the photograph in the background. So I go up to Adjustment, Hue and Saturation, and I'm going to drag that saturation slider all the way to the left, like that. And you can also change the lightness of him down here, kind of make him a little bit lighter if the photograph's a little lighter, a little darker if it's a photograph with more contrast in it. So we're going to make things look right, and that looks pretty good to me. Now, you could very much stop here, and this looks pretty good, but I'm going to take the extra step here, and I'm going to give him a shadow, because you'll notice there is a shadow underneath that horse. All of the people in the photograph have shadows. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate the Kevin Hart layer. So you can right click on the layer and then hit the little duplicate button. Now I have two Kevin Harts. You can also click on Kevin Hart and hit Control C, Control V. So we're going to turn one of these Kevin Harts into shadow, and I'm going to rename that one shadow. So that way we know which one's which. So you're going to go to Adjustment. For the shadow Kevin Hart layer, you're going to go to Brightness and Contrast under the Adjustment menu. And you're going to adjust the contrast all the way to the left. And the brightness you are going to change just a little bit so it gets pretty close to matching the value of the shadows in the piece. And it looks good. But right now, it's standing straight up. We need to adjust it. So if you want to do that, what you can do is you can go over to Edit and Free Distort. Make sure that you have that shadow layer selected. And right now, you'll see I kind of have like a little window in the way that was kind of bothering me when I was recording this. So I think I had to redo it. Here you go. Yep. Nice. So you're going to go to Free Distort. And you can drag those sliders and create a nice little shadow on the ground. And then basically all you have to do is adjust the shadow so it's in the right place, and make sure that it's underneath the Kevin Hart layer. If you'll notice, right now my shadow layer is above Kevin Hart in the layers menu on the right. So we are going to want to move that shadow so it's between kevinhart.jpg and background. You're going to see me do that in a minute. And I'm kind of just playing around with it there, making sure everything looks good. I like the placement of it. The angle of it feels right. And let's see. I'm going to apply. Oh, nope. I wanted to adjust it just a little bit. There we go. That looks good. So now I'm going to apply the transformation the little distortion, and I'm going to move kevinhart.jpg above shadow. So now the shadow is underneath his feet where it should be. It shouldn't be showing above your feet like that. So now I'm changing the transparency of it. I right-clicked on it, and I'm dragging that little transparency slider until it pretty much matches the one that's next to it. Now we're giving him a shadow. It really feels like he's standing in that picture a little bit more. And things are looking pretty good here. So the last thing that you're going to do, and we're going to do this in just a minute. Oh, it looks like before I wanted to just change the transparency, make it just a little bit lighter. Yeah, just wanted to match it as closely as possible. So yeah, what you're going to do is once you're done, you're going to hit File, Save, and you're going to name your file. Again, about the shadow thing, you don't need to add a shadow if you don't want to. It just looks nice. And it's kind of like a nice little extra challenge and a cool way of really making your celebrity feel like they're there. You're going to name it and hit PNG. That keeps all of the layers, and hit download. And once you have it downloaded, you're all set. And if you did everything right, you should have a nice looking celebrity time traveler. And you can turn it in on Google Classroom when you're done and ask me any questions if you might have them.